Right. All right, everybody. We are recording. And the thunder has started here in Morristown, New Jersey. And let me unshare the screen for a moment. There I am. Hello, everybody. It's Andy. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate y'all being here tonight. Um, got plenty to talk about. And as Taylor just put up in the chat, the wonderful Taylor Dembowski in her 21st summer at Liberty Lake Daycare. And she's only 26. Um, she has been a camper, obviously, and a counselor, and a special needs advocate, and a specialist, and a division leader, and we are lucky she gets to work in the office and actually answer the phones when you call in the summer because she knows so much about camp. Um, One of Taylor's claim to fame also is that in 2020, when the world shut down, but they then allowed camps to open, Taylor and myself and my son gave about 100 or 200 tours in about 1 month. And that was really something memorable for sure. Um, but anyway, I hope you hear me fine. I hope it's rocking and rolling. And we are going to start this big PowerPoint. But ask questions, Taylor, in the chat if you'd like, or you can just wait till the end. We're not going to log off until there are no questions. That is our promise. Of course, this is the veteran family Zoom. So it's not going to be as long and philosophically detailed as the rookie one that we did last week. I'm just going to be hitting on new stuff, but I also am going to assume that there's some people here that never saw the rookie one. So I will gloss over those bit quickly, but I will do it. Okay, let me get back into share mode here. PowerPoint. Here we are. Okay. So I run this camp with my wife, Jill. We've been together since we were high school sweethearts. That's our little picture. Then in the middle is when my kids were old enough to be at camp. And then the other one is sort of what they look like now. So yeah, it's a family business. We work really hard. And this time of year, wow, we really work hard. Back in the day, I used to be a professional musician. If you guys didn't know, I was on TV and the radio. I had dreadlocks, and I was a music teacher by day. Coolest music teacher in the world, probably. And then my band broke up. I cut my dreadlocks off, and my summer job turned into my full time job. My daughter, who just turned 30. She is quite a powerhouse. She was a pain in the neck camper that I ended up sending away to sleepaway camp because she was hard to manage at my day camp. And she followed my footsteps and was a music business major in college and decided she wanted to work at music festivals. So she was at a music festival in March of 2020 when the world started falling apart and decided to stay in the jungle with a boyfriend that she met out there who she ended up getting married to. And it's really quite a story. It was the cover story for SJ Magazine a few months ago. She's really something. And she just opened up her own yoga studio in Brooklyn and is doing phenomenally. She's sort of a cult leader. She has this quality about her. And that little pain in the neck girl is now like a chill yogi, who's just all about sound balls and sound healing and stuff like that. So you never know how kids are going to grow up and mature. And look, I never knew what I was going to do in life either, right? I wanted to be a rock star. Then I was a teacher. Next thing you know, I'm in charge of the American Camp Association. I'm flying to China to talk about camp. I'm on the Today Show talking about camp. And then the recession hit in 2008, and I started a Renaissance Fair, which there's one more weekend, people. It's at Burlington County Fairground. It got too big for Liberty Lake. I tell you, it is amazing. It is so much fun. One more weekend. I sent you guys a code for a discount adult ticket. Kid tickets are $12. It's like the biggest bargain in the world, which is why like 5, 6, 7,000 people show up. It is really great. So yeah, fast forward to now, and of course, Liberty Lake is my main thing. But we inherited the picnic business that I keep going. We started a foundation, got the Renaissance Fair. I started a second day camp 16 years ago up in Massachusetts with two of my friends. And then I took over a sleepaway camp with a bunch of other friends when one of my friends passed away from cancer, who started the camp around the same time I had Liberty Lake. I started a government affairs lobbying 501c3 for the camp industry in New Jersey. So I'm constantly meeting lawmakers in Trenton and even Washington, D.C. Um, yeah, and I run the second biggest podcast in the camp industry, the Day Camp Pod, if you ever want to hear from the inside out. But like I said, the big thing is Liberty Lake. That's our day to day. And it's our 25th anniversary. So it's a big deal. And like I was saying, for those of you logged on early, in the picture that I used on the front of this, when you guys logged on, there's a picture of a woman. Well, there's a young lady there. She's probably 14 in that picture, and now, that 12 years from now, she's got three kids and sends a couple to camp. It's amazing that I have. It's the greatest feeling watching kids grow up, and then watching kids who are like hiding behind their mom's legs when they visited me for the first time. Seeing them run a group of campers really is super impressive. I don't want to talk about 2020. We're moving from that. We are committed to the best. We really are. I meet through my work, basically the off season. I go to camp conferences all around North America. I visit camps. I visit dozens of camps every single year, and I steal their best ideas and I bring them to Liberty Lake. I am a synthesizer of ideas. I do get some original ones, but actually, most of the original ideas coming to Liberty Lake now are coming from my son, who is a powerhouse. More on him soon. But we use professional bus companies. We don't have our own counselors drive the buses like a lot of camps do. We use professional food service. We don't just sit there and make hot dogs like a lot of camps do. We have really good food. Professional photographers. We now have a media team of 4 this year. So we're going to be pumping out all kinds of photos and videos like never before. I highly recommend you download the Companion app and put in the facial recognition thing, because there'll be a lot of photos of your kids, hopefully. And it's nice to get notified as opposed to having to sort through 1,000 photos. Um, State of the art communication. I use this database, this Camp Miner that you log into. That is by far the most state of the art, most expensive database in the industry. And it allows you to do your financial stuff nice and easily. It allows me to contact you nice and easily. It has that Companion app now. So I hope you do utilize that. We are very aware that kids today and staff today, behaviors are tougher coming out of the pandemic than they were prior. And, people's addiction to technologies is making attention span shorter. And thus we have behavioral people on staff, which most camps do not, to help with kids adapting to the camp thing and being able to navigate social situations. And, frankly, self-regulation is a big thing with a lot of kids. So we do bring in professionals for that. So yeah, while we don't tolerate inappropriate behavior and we will kick kids out of camp if they can't handle it, at the same time, we give kids more of a fighting chance than ever before. We have 3 nurses and nurse interns. Our head nurse, Vanessa, is actually one of the heads of nursing of Rutgers Camden out of Blackwood. And she brings like seniors in college in a nursing program who need to do a certain amount of hours. She brings them to us. So when your kid goes to our health center, not only are there 3 nurses there, but there often could be 5 interns as well. So we're really, really fortunate for that. We have a dietary specialist. I know of one other camp in the country that has somebody dedicated to the dietary needs, and one of our nurses is going to be doing that. Her name is Raina. You can email her at food@libertylakedaycamp.com. We have a middle management level of division leaders. Which is ridiculously robust. I would say I'm probably overstaffed in this area this year, but they're like your concierges. They're there to help you out. So when you email your division, you're getting a team of 3 people, unless it's the Turtles, which is our small division. It's just 1 person. But yeah, they are really great people, and they're for you. We have the largest camp inclusion program in the United States. We probably we have over 1,000 kids enrolled to camp this summer, and I would estimate that close to 200 have some kind of additional needs that we attend to, that we are aware of, that we can support. So that is a big part of our mission and what we do. Being, that one of our big things is community. We are there for everyone in our community as much as we can be. And yeah, like I said, we have the best new ideas in the camp industry. I stay on top of things. I have people on my podcast that are cutting edge, and it's really, really great for Liberty Lake. So, new this year is that my son is back in the fold. My son, Justin, who was a camper in our first year in 2002 when he was two, and he came all the way up through, went to sleepaway camp, and then when he was in sixth grade, started battling leukemia, which he battled for 7 years. A couple of rounds of chemo that didn't work, experimental immunotherapy treatment, and then what would have been his senior year of high school, he got a stem cell transplant, which has worked phenomenally. So he then went to Villanova, where he became Jay Wright's manager, student manager for the last 4 years of Jay Wright, and learned a ton about leadership. In his senior year, he got a job at Lululemon selling yoga pants. And within 5 weeks, they told him he was the highest rated salesperson in the country. And within 5 months, they hired him to be a senior vice president at their corporate headquarters in Los Angeles, where he worked for a year and said, I don't want to do this. I want to be a camp director, but I don't want to work with you, Dad. So he went up to the camp I'm partners with, our sister camp up in Massachusetts, outside of Boston, Everwood. And he took that place from good to great in 3 years. Really did an unbelievable job there. And then this year decided he wanted to come back. So since September, he has been with us. And it has been a very humbling experience for me working with someone so smart, and reminds me of me when I started in the camp industry when I was 27 and I thought I was smarter than all the old people. And so, yeah, there's lots of new ideas. He's very in touch with young people and understands how they think. And yeah, it's a whole new world. And Justin is not just a superstar at Liberty Lake. He actually is a superstar in the camp industry. He gives talks to camps across the country. He gets flown out by camps and paid lots of money to train their staffs. And he speaks at professional development conferences for camp directors about how to manage Gen Z and how to bring excitement to your camp program. So we were just really, really fortunate. He's going to be the division leader also of our senior camp division this year. Our senior division, which is our kids going into seventh and eighth and some ninth graders, is our biggest division this year. It's just a sort of bell curve of kids these days. There's actually a lot less kids in the world that are, let's say, preschoolers, first and second graders, even third graders. And there's a lot more kids that got born at that certain time that are now 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's our biggest division. And Justin is going to be overseeing it. It's going to be like a camp unto itself. And we're super psyched. So, yes, we're living in a crazy world today. There's lots of economic uncertainty. I thank you all profusely for spending your hard earned dollars at Liberty Lake. And I know that camp is expensive. And all I can tell you is that running a camp is really expensive, especially in New Jersey, where minimum wage is $16 an hour now. And the most of our money is really going to staff. My summer payroll is $1 million, just so you have an idea. We have, I don't know, 335 people hired. We have that huge inclusion program with all the special people that work in that. That middle management is very robust. We do not just hire a bunch of kids like most camps do. We hire a bunch of adults. We're about one third 16 to 17-year-olds, but they are sidekicks. And then we're one third college age and one third adults. I don't know of any other camp, certainly in this area, that is one third adults that invest that much into a real adult staff. So staffing has been really easy because when the economy sucks, people need jobs. So never before do I remember it being so easy to staff a camp. I mean, I joke around with my office. I wish we got as many camper applications as we get staff applications because they come in droves. It's really unbelievable. So the good thing about that is that we don't have to tolerate mediocrity. If we see that people are being mediocre, we can get rid of them and replace them with somebody lickety split. So don't be surprised if your counselors change at some point during the summer, and it's only because we're upgrading, okay? Because we are able to. We have about 30 extra staff right now, just waiting because I'm telling our staff that weeks 1 and 2 are tryouts. Another thing that's different this year is Crocs. So in the past, I was big anti-Croc guy. I was saying I don't want kids spraining their ankles and this and that. But fighting the Croc revolution is like it's like a salmon trying to swim upstream. So many people love them. So many people spend so much time in them. So I have to you a Croc compromise that the union leaders have agreed to, which is Kids can wear Crocs, staff can wear Crocs, but not at sports. Not at sports where they're moving their ankles in four different directions. So, what are we talking about? Bike riding, high ropes adventure, basketball, pickleball, baseball, soccer, these kind of things where they have to run around and pivot. No Crocs. If the Croc kids come and they take these electives or these activities, they have to switch into sneakers. Okay, so very important. Pack a pair of sneakers in the camp bag if they're Croc kids. Okay, because I will not play basketball against a child in Crocs. I'm not doing it. Okay, I don't want them slipping and twisting their ankle and that kind of thing. They may do it at home, but I don't want them doing it here. So that's my Croc compromise. And we have Fuzzy Man gibbets this year that we're giving out to the kids that are super cool, super cute, that they can put on their damn Crocs. Um, Color War. So big news. So history of Color War at Liberty Lake. It was two teams for like the first 12 years. And then I was like, and it gets pretty savage with two teams, right? It's like half the camp against the other half of the camp. So you could imagine the energy levels is insane. But then half the camp gets angry at the other camp for winning, which isn't good either. So we went to three teams, and that was pretty good until we came out of COVID. And what happened is we blew up. Enrollment skyrocketed. Groups were selling out in September, and the teams got too big for three teams. It was too much because what happens in Color War is that the counselors actually manage their teams. They become generals. If you're a superstar group leader or specialist, you could become a general on your Color War team. And the generals were having a hard time managing. So we went to five teams for the 5-star points. And now we are back to normal, camp size levels. And really, we'll probably end up going back to three teams next year. But for this year, because it's our 25th anniversary, we're going to sort of blow it up and go to two teams. So for all my returning people, there's a red team and a blue team. Everybody on the red team is still on the red team. Everyone on the blue team is on the blue team. If you're on the silver team, you're now on the red team. If you're on the gold team, you're on the blue team. And the tie-dye team, who won last year, we're breaking up the powerhouse and we're splitting the tie-dye team. Okay. We sent the parent packs out. You should have gotten it by now. If not, it should come tomorrow. We mailed them last Wednesday night. It has on that sheet what their Color War team is. Okay, so they should know beforehand. Yeah. All right, two-team Color War. We're going to talk about the wave thing in a moment. The next thing I just want to talk about is smartwatches. I sent a thing out to juniors and seniors, but I'm sure that there's sophomores and freshmen whose parents buy them $300 watches too, which I think is nuts, but we can't have smartwatches at camp. We outlawed phones. Okay, that's an obvious one, right? And iPads and whatever technology. And people were like, what about smartwatches? And I was being Andy the nice guy. And I said, yeah, just as long as it's, programmed so that it's not on the internet or whatever, then I'm fine with smartwatches. Just use it as a watch. And unfortunately, that doesn't work because what happens is that people use it as a phone. And we had kids in camp messaging each other from their smartwatches. We had a kid message their parents that they were bored, and the parent just showed up out of the blue to pick up their kid. And we were like, what are you doing here? And they're like, my kid sent me a text message. And I'm like, how'd they do that? They don't have a phone. And they were like, they have a smartwatch. So yeah, God forbid the kid was bored for 20 minutes, right? So anyway, by the way, I don't blame the mom. I blame me. I blame me for not being savvy about that. So we are getting rid of smartwatches, and anything that is hooked up to the internet, that is what we are outlawing at camp. And I put out there to the parents. I have many parents who are divorced, and the kid is coming to camp from dad's house and then going home to mom's house. And if the phone has to travel with them, they're going to let us know, and we are going to keep this phone in the office, and we're going to figure out a system how to do that. But we cannot have kids with phones in their bags. 3 times in the last 2 years, and once in staff training this week, we had people with phones in their bags, and then they sit on their bags, and then it calls 911, and then the police show up. Right, so we can't have phones hidden even. Okay, and this next screen here, I had a parent saying, "Oh, my daughter, she loves counting her steps. What about their Fitbit and this and that?" And I said, if it's not hooked up to the Wi-Fi, right, and they make pedometer watches that act just like Fitbits, okay, for $16 on Amazon. All right. So they're out there. All right. So please, no phones on wrists, because that's really what it comes down to. All right. I appreciate it. Um, just a refresher course here. We start with turtles. Those are the kids going into pre-K. We go all the way up to LITs. Those are the kids going into 10th grade. Every 2 years is a different division. Okay. And like I said, this year, for the first time in a wacky history, and this is like this not just at Liberty Lake, this is like this at all around the world, we have more juniors and seniors than we have Turtles freshmen and sophomores. We're a little bit lopsided. Good news for my Turtles freshmen and sophomores, lots of attention, right? Because you guys do things together. You know, sophomores do things as a sophomores, freshmen do things as a freshman. So there's going to be less groups and they're just going to get more attention and it's going to be great for them. And yeah, and the juniors and seniors are very strong divisions, so I'm not so worried about that. Swim. Just to go over aquatics a little bit, we consult with the foremost authority on aquatic safety in the United States. She is a powerhouse. She just got hired by the YMCA to be the head of risk management for all of the YMCAs in the country, right? She's great. And she works with us throughout the year. Our head of aquatics is Gary, sort of his 15th summer with us. He is a 32-year-old school teacher in Camden, who also works at the Kroc Center throughout the year. He loves Red Cross, and he is a lifeguard trainer that trains some of our lifeguards as well. We have AED units at the pool and on both sides of the lake, the shallow end and the deep end. We're doing swim assessments. I sent you stuff on that. Pre-K to fourth grade, those are the ones that have swim lessons. So the assessments are more important for that age and for our inclusion kids. So that is this Sunday, and then the Saturday before camp starts from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And in the email that I sent you about that, there's a registration link. So because we only want to take 10 kids every 20 minutes, basically. So we don't want people waiting around. We did it last year for the first time. It was super successful. There was a little bit too much waiting for me. So we're trying to make that go quicker. Yeah, and they can take their deep water test there. What is the deep water test? It's swimming one time across the deep pool in, it's 80 feet with a good stroke. So they can only take it once because then they're going to be too tired if they fail. So any of that they can do on the first day of camp, the assessment or the deep water test. We're just trying to make the first day go smoother. Yeah, so we got 24 lifeguards under contract right now. All right, here's a new thing for camp that I've alluded to in some of the emails, but it's sort of hard to understand. So this visual can help you a little bit. So as I've said, I'm on the cutting edge of everything that's going on in the camp industry. And when it comes to safety and aquatic safety, there actually is a new technology that's out there, and it's called WAVE. And this might be something that is utilized in all pools and lakes in the next few years. But it's been out for 3 years. It's being utilized in a lot of city swim programs, and it's being utilized in a lot of sleepaway camps that have lakes. And basically, it's this comfortable band that goes around part of your head, goes around the back. So you don't really see it in the front. You can see it a little bit on the side of the kid's head there. And there's technology in it, right? These things are battery powered. They get recharged. And if a kid goes underwater for more than 10 seconds, the lifeguards in that area have a wristband that is Bluetooth that will vibrate. Now, if you see Liberty Lake, and you can see from just the picture behind me, it's cedar water. It is not crystal blue like the water around this WAVE brochure, right? So this is, to me, something that could be super helpful for the lifeguards. If the kid stays under even longer than 10 seconds, then we put the marker, let's say at 20 seconds. At that point, that siren thing that's in the middle there goes off. And then we know, okay, now we really need to go searching. This is not to replace lifeguards. This is not like some AI thing that's replacing, I could hire less lifeguards. No, this is to help lifeguards. This is to make the job, better for them, right? And to make it more successful. This is just a safer thing. And the way this gets explained to me and the way that I've debriefed it with the camps that use it at sleepaway camps, I don't know why this doesn't become standard at some point soon. So, like many things that Liberty Lake does, we become the first to do it, right? We were the first day camp to say that we were running during the pandemic. We're the first day camp to use that CampMinder software. You know, we try to be the first with a lot of cool things that I find. So, we're the first here. And we're going to use this only on the shallow end of our lake because the deep end of our lake, everybody has to be a deep water swimmer. The pools are clear. So we're trying this first at the shallow end of our lake because we have kids that are not great swimmers in that part. And it's going to be a controlled situation. It's like 60 feet of shoreline. And we're trying it out. We're getting used to it. We signed a 3-year contract with them. So, assuming that it goes well at the shallow end of the lake, I will then move it to the deep end of the lake. And then if it goes well there, we will move it to the pool. But the shallow end of the lake is like our test. We want a controlled, easy thing. I do not want to stress my lifeguards out too much about this because it's going to be new. And I am optimistic it's going to be successful. And then you guys can tell your friends that, hey, you know that thing that they just put into the at the community pool? They've been doing that at Liberty Lake for 3 years, right? Because I think that it literally might be heading that way. All right, let's talk about electives a little bit. So, what is new in elective land? Not much because we have so many electives. If anything, we have too many electives. We actually cut a couple out. I'm not going to tell you which ones because we have so many. Um, what we're doing, one thing is with the freshmen, we found that the 6 and 7 year olds were not taking STEM because they were all taking ooey gooey. Ooey gooey, the slime elective, right? It is a very popular freshman elective, one of the most popular freshman electives. But STEM is really awesome. We have this amazing STEM program. So what we did is we created an elective called Frosh Ooey STEM so that the kids can get ooey gooey 2 or 3 times a week and get STEM 2 or 3 times a week in that elective so they can learn some science while making their slime. So that's my compromise with that. And I think that's going to be fine. We are still planning on having the 2 cooking classes, even though we got a few less kids because the cooking classes are just so popular. So we ask that the kids just put one in their top 10 list. So we're going to go back to a top 10 list. We last year we used new technology, a new software program for our electives. And boy, it was so great that so many kids got their top choices, way more than our old software did. So I am optimistic that we don't need to do 15 choices anymore, that we can do 10. And I am extremely sympathetic with you that when CampMinder upgraded and we got all these great new things in CampMinder, including the app, it actually downgraded how you put in the elective choices. And it's a real pain in the ass. And I know that. So now you only have to do 10 instead of 15. Yeah, they know it's a problem. I complain about it constantly. It's on their hit list. So a top 10 list. So you don't have to be like, scrounging for those last 5. Okay. So please, if you can only put one in there, let me explain the 2 cooking classes. Taste Buds is legitimate cooking. Okay. That's like you're watching a cooking show. Okay. And creative cooking is cooking that is no baking. Okay. So creative cooking is like making salsa, decorating cookies. It's yeah, it's no bake stuff, right? So we have to be creative about it. Last year, the person that did creative cooking was way too much into sweets. So kids signed up in droves for it because they were literally like eating icing with their hands. It's not going to be like that this year. Okay. It will be good, but it's not just going to be like handy elective. So creative cooking and taste buds are going to be right sort of near each other. And yeah, and we have new teachers for both of them. And we're optimistic they're going to be great. Peter Pan is the big musical. Just to clarify with that, if your kid wants to be in the show, they really need to be here between weeks 3 and 7. I just answered an email from a parent that said their kid really wants to be in the show, but they're going to be away on vacation in week 6. And what I told them, and the kid's an older kid who's been in musicals before, I said, your kid could be in the show, but they're only going to be part of the ensemble. They can't be a lead if they're not going to be here the week before the show takes place. But the show does take place on family night, which I think is August 5th. It's the Wednesday of week 7, rain date Thursday. And yeah, and we're excited about Peter Pan. It's the second time that we're doing it because now we've been around 25 years. We have to start recycling a little bit. What else can I tell you about? The Feather and Fur is going to be great. We got a new lady for Feather and Fur. We got the goats and chickens coming, and we're going to have a baby turkey this year because she says that turkeys are really cute when they're babies. So we shall see about that. Taylor sent me a question. I'm working from home right now. Normally, Taylor and I are like earshot when we do this in the camp office, but I had hernia surgery yesterday morning. So I am laying in bed because I went to work for the first 6 hours today and I am done. If you have an accused camper, can a sibling also register or come along to do an early swim test? Absolutely. Absolutely. They can sign up, the sibling, 100%. It's open to everybody, the swim test. It's just more important for turtles to sophomores who actually have swim lessons. But yeah, we'll take anyone. All right, moving on. Oop, 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 oop. Spirit calendar. So it's our 25th anniversary. So we have a whole bunch of like things that are coming back from over the years. But yeah, there are some days in the spirit calendar where there's a lot going on, and there's some that are more just like theme days. Remember that the if the yellow star is in the corner, that's a dress up day, and your kids can get dressed up, as the staff will as well. In the first week, superhero day is a big one. We're going to be climbing through things. We got a big giant inflatable obstacle course, of course, yacht or not, is huge. Um, yeah, we try to put contingencies in for the weather, for the heat, for all those kind of things, and yeah, spirit events. Do you have any questions about that? Let us know. But frankly, a lot of this stuff we don't know until it's going because we have a whole spirit team that plans these kind of things out. And just, from our returning people, on your kid's last day of camp, there is a tradition. I'm not saying you have to do it, but a lot of kids wear their camp shirt, of course, on picture day, and then they wear it on the last day of camp, and their friends sign it. Right. So we have a lot of kids they come back to camp and they wear their camp shirts from 2 years ago with all the kids, their friends. It's super cute, sort of unofficial tradition that we have here. So I figured I might as well tell you about it. So I told you about Color War. We're going from 5 teams down to 2 teams. So this is what it looked like when it was red and blue. And that was when it was on the hill. Before we had an amphitheater, we did it on the big hill where we roasted your children like sun-dried tomatoes. Now it's a little bit more shady. Lunch is back. We got a new chef. Her name is Joy. We've been eating her food at the school field days, and she is excellent. And the dietary specialist is Raina, and her email is food@libertylakedaycamp.com. She's being mentored by the lady that did it the last few years. So we're very confident. She's been taking allergy courses and stuff to become an expert as much as she can. So just to go over the food again, because it's just so complicated at times, what you're seeing on the menu. So my goodness, mini corn dogs. Oh, I hate corn dogs. I'm going to go to chicken and waffles. That's what kids love. We're doing it 3 times. They love chicken and waffles so much. So when the kids come in the morning, they take attendance and then they take their lunch order. So they say, hey guys, it's chicken and waffles. What, you guys want chicken and waffles? Some kids like, I want chicken. Some kids like, I want waffles. Some kids like, I want chicken and waffles, right? I want the dairy free. I want the gluten free, right? We got all that stuff. But let's say they don't want chicken and waffles. Every single day, there is a variety of sandwiches: ham, turkey, tuna, sun nut butter and jelly sandwiches. There's a pasta bar with pasta with oil, like olive oil, and then pasta with red sauce that for our picky eaters. And I always give Taylor a shout out because she's, a big grown up now and she still eats pasta all the time because she was one of those picky kids. Um, and chicken fingers. Love the chicken fingers. So, yeah, and there's yogurts every day. There's apples throughout the day. There's pretzels the kids get for snacks. Again, gluten-free options for those kids that need that kind of thing. There's ice pops at the end of the day, ice cream on Friday. The food is really good. Again, we use caterers, right? So, there's a high quality. As I tell the kids, it ain't like school. Free choice, interesting. The evolution of free choice. When we started free choice about 10 or so years ago, maybe 15 years ago, it was a lot easier for kids to figure out what to do when they didn't know what to do. Today, it's a little tougher, and we really need to give them a lot of options. But we are still doing a version of this. It's just there's a lot more concrete things for them to do during free choice. Um, Moving forward, success program. I told you about that a bit. Safety and security. So just to reiterate from last year, we started, well, actually the year before that, we started hiring a professional security service to monitor the gate. His name is Mike. He's a big man. He looks very scary. He's a big puppy dog. Um, and we have a guy on staff full time, Mr. Rob Swantek. He's one of our directors. He is an expert in emergencies. He worked for risk management for a hospital and then for Princeton University. So he really loves the detail of all that kind of thing. So we're fortunate to have such a detail type A person on our full time staff to really sort of shepherd us through that kind of thing. We have an alert system. We have 60 walkie talkies. We're a uniform camp. We are doing a new thing this year where we're getting name tags that hang around the staff's neck. So if they're getting dressed up or if they're wearing an old shirt that doesn't have the normal name on it, that they'll have a name tag. So everybody will have names this year on every day. If a visitor shows up, they get tagged, they get escorted right around camp. There's no strangers just walking around ever. The lake is shallow. If you fall out of a boat, you could probably stand up. But we have life vests in there, of course, and plenty of lifeguards that are specially trained for open water. I told you about CampMinder. CampMinder also has mass texting, so we can mass text you very easily. If a bus is late, all that kind of thing. We will never mass text you unless it's really important, right? And I'm not going to mass text you that like enrollment is open for 2027. No, I might text you that enrollment is ending for 2027, so people don't want to miss early enrollment. Um, and then for my Philly families, we are fortunate that the Philly Bus Company does have a GPS app that you all have that you guys are all privy to. Um, and just so you know, for the New Jersey camps, for the New Jersey families, they do have GPS on them. They just don't have an app that goes to parents. So we are able to see where the New Jersey buses are, and we can share that with you. But it's the traffic problems going through New Jersey are nothing like getting in and out of Philly. Okay, you know about the start points and all these kind of fun things. Again, I want to push this book. If you have a 10-year-old to 25-year-old, I cannot tell you how awesome this book is. It is so great at understanding how the kids' brains work. Um, First week of camp, your kid's going to be exhausted, right? Get them to sleep early. Just reiterating from my rookie orientation. Um, you know, kids are generally indoor people these days. And, starting a camp that's in the 90s, temperature wise, outdoors all day, you know, these kids are going to come home toast. So, get them showered and cleaned, throw some food in their mouth, and put them to sleep while it's still light out. Because that first week is it's hard for everybody, including the staff. Staff go to sleep while it's light out. Okay, that first week of camp. And 90% of the time, when a kid is having bad behavior at camp, we call the parents and it starts with, oh, yeah, they were up late last night, blah, 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 right? Because kids are cranky otherwise. Um, okay, we don't need to go this year. Returning people. Let's talk about communication. So the the big thing is who to call when, right? Um, we have so many phone numbers and stuff, and we have so many emails and stuff, right? There's two main phone numbers. The main camp number, 609-499-7820, but the health center has a direct line. So if the nurse ever calls you and leaves a message, you could call them back directly, which is a lot easier than calling the office, who then has to transfer to the health center and hope that somebody is picking up because we're attending the children at the health center, right? It's a lot easier when that thing just rings right there. The best summer email is office@libertylakedaycamp.com. That goes to like 5 people in the office, including Taylor. And those are the people that can be like the switchboard operators and make sure that things get to the right people. Even if you want to talk to a division leader, if you email the division leader directly, they may not see the email until after camp's over because they're outside attending to the kids and their staff. So, but if you give it to the office and the office reads it and they can't answer it because they can answer most of the things or resolve most of the things or, make sure the kid's getting picked up early and all this kind of stuff, the office can do that. And if it's a really, really important thing for the division leader, they will call the division leader on the walkie-talkie and they'll come to the office and deal with it then. Um, Following us on social media in the summer is great as far as updates to actually see what is going on. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, even a little TikTok going. The CampMinder login will take you into all great places. We'll go into that a little bit more. The leadership team. A couple things I want to point out about the leadership team is that we have head counselors, and they oversee the division leaders. So I have Kathy Breen, who has been with us for, I don't know, close to 20 years. She's an amazing teacher and division leader in her own right. She oversees the turtles and the freshmen. So when there's a bigger kind of issue with the turtles and freshmen, she will contact you. I have Matt Hominski, who's the head counselor in the sophomores and juniors. If there's a bigger issue that the division leaders can normally handle, he will reach out to you. So I just want to identify who those people are. They are sending out emails to you guys, introductory emails. You're going to get them in the next couple of days, and it's going to list those head counselors in there. Senior division is my son, Justin. He's your guy there. Teens is Meredith, and Turtles is Brandy. But everybody's listed here for the division leaders. Most of our division leaders are back from last year. So you can see a lot of familiar names if your kid is in the same division. Okay. All right. So that is that. So just navigating through the, I got a question from Taylor. Can campers wear goggles during swim tests? This is the story. The Red Cross, we do a Red Cross program. The Red Cross doesn't want your kids wearing goggles during the swim test because it's a Red Cross thing. The Deepwater test is about what happens when your kid comes out of the pool slide, lands in 7 feet of water, and let's just say that their goggles fly off their head. We want to have the confidence that they're going to be able to swim to the ladder. So I'm pretty sure that they make the kids take their goggles off for the swim test, and they're just swimming straight 80 feet. That's it. Yeah, that's not our rule. That's the Red Cross's rule. Any camp that's not doing that is breaking the Red Cross's rule. Ugh, I hate telling people that, but it is the truth. All right. So anyway, back to this. When you go to our website, the easiest thing to do is when you get to the homepage, click on Returning Families. That will take you to that page that has those 3 buttons, the quick links, Spirit Calendar, and the CampMinder login. Those are really the things you need. Okay. Let's say you go to CampMinder login. This is what it looks like. You guys have all seen it. Forms and documents is where the top 10 electives are, right? Financial management is where you can get a copy of your statement. So when it's tax time, you don't have to email me and say, can you send me a copy of your statement? You can literally just go to financial management and print it. Okay. And there's also the labels in there, camper clothing labels, right? I highly recommend those. Those are great for getting your clothes back when your kids lose them at camp. Okay, here's forms and documents. See, it says top 10 now. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. Quick links. So if you click on quick links, it takes you to this page where you see these accordions. Most of the things you're looking for are under important resources. All right. So when you click on important resources, it opens up and there it is. The Spirit Calendar, the elective sheet, the bus times, the parent resource guide. By the way, bus times coming this week, we've been promised. Okay. Although they're really not going to change that much from last year. The Liberty Lectionary, the lunch menu. The parent resource guide, I only mail a hard copy to new families and to returning families that want a hard copy. So I highly recommend I sent an email with a direct link to it where you go to quick links and read the parent resource guide because there are things that change from year to year. It's important, right? It's like our little Bible. And the Liberty Lectionary, if you never read it, it's a Bible of colloquialisms from Liberty Lake and funny things and terms that we use. And the lunch menu is up. That came to you in that parent packet and all, or will come. I got the link to Bunkline, our clothing company, if you want to buy some cool swag. That's about there's lots of stuff in there. All right, this is my last push for Campanion. You're going to get a bunch of emails about this as well. It's such a cool app. I pay so much money for this. Come on, you got to use it. the parents that use this are so happy. I know it's a little creepy with the facial recognition thing and uploading your kid's picture, but man, they are so happy with getting all these photos of their kids that they would have never seen. And I'm Facebook friends with a lot of parents, and they post these collages at the end of the summer with all their kids' pictures. It's like, holy mackerel, so cool to be able to do. Also, Companion, that's number one reason. Number two reason is you could do all your forms on your phone through this app. Number three reason, you could sign back up to camp in like 5 clicks with it, as opposed to using a desktop top computer. So you got the photos, you got the forms, and you got the re-enrollment. That's the reasons for using Companion and putting yet another app onto your phone. So again, Parent Resource Guide, Liberty Lectionary, links that I've sent you, or they're in the quick link page. I did not send hard copies of this to returning families. I sent it to you when you were your first year. What to bring to camp, it's the same as before. Water bottle, right? Name tags on the water bottle too. Okay, very important. You know how many Yetis we find that are unnamed. And just again, if you're sending your kid in Crocs, pack sneakers if they're doing sports, right? And then just to clarify the money thing, yes, we do have like a canteen where people can buy Gatorades and bottled water and juices and stuff, and we do have foundation celebration bake sales and things like that too. Um, so yeah, we do have that. That is true. But kids do not need to bring any money. There's plenty of water everywhere and all that kind of thing. And they don't need to get a Gatorade and that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, I try to sort of minimize the amount of water shoes, goggles, nice stuff, accessories. Like, I hate wording things negatively, but the more you bring, the more you lose, right? The less you bring, the less you lose. These are kids, right? And these are counselors trying to navigate managing 15 kids and who are throwing their socks over their ears and, in changing rooms that are hot and this and that. Make sure you pack in that backpack a light windbreaker. We are getting the same backpacks again as last year, although they are held up in customs right now. Um, yes, our president's tariffs and all these fun things are not making this easy. We use a Canadian company that makes the bags in China. So can you imagine what we're going through? But they should be here this week. And they're really nice bags, those you guys know from last year. We are paying more, but we're getting more quality in it. Um, I think that's basically that. Miscellaneous, yeah, we've gone through. You guys are experts, right? Um, we talk about bug spray and sunscreen. I recommend the sunscreen that has the bug spray in it. It's not like there's lots of mosquitoes at Liberty Lake. There's really not. It's really breezy. Um, so I don't think bug spray is that important, except for the kids doing the late nights or the sleepovers, that kind of thing. But sunscreen certainly is. I'm not a fan of the spray because the kids end up spraying each other, and nobody wants to get sprayed in the face accidentally by somebody's sunscreen. I much prefer like the roll-ons or the traditional just wipe it on you kind of things. And the counselors can help with the faces and stuff and reapplying, certainly. The Grazi app, right? For those of you who want to give gratuities to the staff, this is great. Not just for their regular staff, who of course you'll know their names, but it's good. You'll know the names of the bus staff. You'll know the names of their swim instructors, of the basketball coach, of their counselor at Will's World. It's nice for that if you want to give them a tip at the end of the day. We do not promise the staff anything, but they certainly appreciate these kind of things. And yes, while our older staff make $16 an hour, the staff under 18 do not. So they're the ones, the high school kids, that really appreciate it the most. I got another question. Can campers wear closed-toed sandals for sports? It's not the closed toe that's as big of an issue. It's the strap around, right? It's the thing being totally secured. But yeah, closed toe and secured is good. But you could say Crocs are closed toe and secured too, right? So it's about the grip. Also, if it's a sport grip, I don't want them slipping, right? I want them to be able to pivot and stuff. You're talking about climbing, walls. You're talking about playing basketball. right? So it has to be sort of like a sneaker on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? All right. So the meet and greet is a week from yesterday. My gosh, times are coming. Anytime between 6:30 and 8. I recommend you don't all come at 6:30 because then it's sort of like a big wave in the parking lot. Some people come at 6:30, some people come at 7. You can even come at 7:30. But don't come at 8. That's when it ends. Optional swim tests I told you about. Family night, August 5th. Wilderness skills overnights, that's on the Spirit calendar. Make sure your kid signs up for wilderness that week. That makes them eligible for the late night, the sophomore late night, or the junior, senior teens overnight. Top 10 electives, fill it up now, even if you're not starting until August. Doesn't matter. We want everybody to fill out top 10 electives now so that if you're on vacation and your kid starts the week you come back and you forgot to fill it out, we don't want that. We want to have electives in the system. So if you forget to update them, we'll have choices for your kids when they get here. Parent resource guide is online now. Bus routes and times, who knows, maybe tomorrow. Back page of the parent guide, right? That had all the contacts and the dates. Re-enrollment is going to start August 11th, and we're going to do an early bird pricing thing for returning families. Yeah. And if you haven't done your health history, shame on you, but most people have. And again, before we start taking questions, I just want to thank you all again. We're in a crazy time right now where technology and screens and AI has just created this crazy point we're at where our kids and us, we're just, our whole lives revolve around them. We go into Wawa and we check out with a robot. Any job that a robot can do, they're going to do. And the only thing left for our kids are going to be the things that are really human, and that's what we teach at camp: human skills, collaboration, creativity, social skills, communication skills. And you guys know that because you're investing into this. And there really is no better investment. There's no place for kids to learn these things better than at summer camp. I truly believe that. And by the way, the American Camp Association does research into this. And we know that kids have a better chance of sticking in college from going to camp. We know that kids lead more successful lives as adults because of the lessons that they learned in camp. So I salute you for your kids who don't appreciate it fully until they're out of college probably. So anyway, that's it for me. And it is now open for questions that you can put into the chat and Taylor can convey to me.
Andy,
But of course I can't.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you great. I was just actually going to suggest that you talk into the thing.
So we have a question about the wave
Yeah,
technology. Can you explain that one more time? The specific question was, will this be worn by all swimmers in the pool or optional?
it's going to be worn by all swimmers. And I say all swimmers, non-swimmers, deep band swimmers, even staff in the shallow end of the lake. That is where we're doing it first. I am talking about that part of the lake that is down near boating, that has the sandy beach, and it goes into the water where there's a rope at 4 feet. Okay, 4 feet is still pretty deep water. So all kids and staff, again, are going to use this technology when they're swimming in that part of the lake. We use that lake for free swim for younger kids, certainly, and even older kids that aren't deep water swimmers. And we use it when it's really hot days, when we have to keep the kids cool. So this is sort of like a test area. It's the first year we're using this. So we want it to be in a controlled area where not a lot of kids are all the time. Because if we're afraid if we just threw it on everybody at the pool, it would be a big deal. But no, it's not going to be optional. It's going to be a thing that becomes normalized. And again, the staff are even going to wear it. I will be taking pictures with it on my head as well.
Andy, do you mind just pointing to it in your background?
Pointing
The
to what? The
shadowline
shallow
area?
end of the lake?
Yes, and they can just see because you explained it, but it's in the left-hand side.
You know what? I'm a little picture. How do I get myself a big picture? Okay, so it's backwards on me here. It's near boating. It's right there. See
Yep,
that little
right there.
that little beach area there? So yeah, it's a big beach. I mean, kids go there, they make sandcastles and all that kind of stuff. Um, But yeah, it's look. The fact is, it's 4 feet. It goes up to 4 feet there, and we put lifeguards there. We put multiple lifeguards there, but that's the kind of beach area. Again, it's like a lake where your kid goes underwater, and while they're underwater, we can't really see them. So with this technology, if they're underwater for a certain amount of time, it will notify the lifeguards. Now, of course, will there be teenagers who decide to hold their breath and mess with the lifeguards? Yes, I'm sure there will be some of that, and we'll have to teach them that they can't be doing that. But this is cutting edge stuff that is already being utilized at sleepaway camps a lot, and like I said, at like boys and girls clubs. In a lot of cities and Asbury Park, it's being used. It's more and more places are taking advantage of this because why not? And it's actually not even that expensive. It's more of just taking the plunge on it that people camps are hesitant to do because remember we were one of the first camps that went peanut free. We were one of the first camps that went sun nut butter and jelly because it was just the right thing to do. It was the safest thing. We had all these kids coming that were allergic to peanuts, and all my friends' camps were like, peanut butter is really important. And I'm just like, well, anaphylactic shock is really important too. I'd like to avoid that. Oh, the Camp Minder link on LLDC cannot be found. It's um it's on there, Sally. It's you just go to the homepage, it says log in. And that's what it is right there. And again, if you go to the homepage and you click returning families, it's one of the three links that's right there as well. It's almost 8 o'clock, folks. But the next game starts at 8:30, so I got time. So any questions, any thoughts, I am happy to hear them. And look, I'm always available for you, right? Andy at libertylakedaycamp.com. I'm a little behind because of my hernia surgery. So if you emailed me a couple of days ago, I might just be getting back to you now. But I'm pretty on top of it. And yeah, we're gearing up for an awesome summer. It's our 25th anniversary, but I feel that with my son now with me, that it's almost like it's like year one of the next era because he does bring just so much excitement and new ideas to the fold that we're really psyched about. So happy you guys logged on. Um, any other things, just shoot me an email. And until then, I hope to see you next Tuesday at the meet and greet. Remember, if you don't come to the meet and greet, your kid will get their camp bag and t-shirt on the first day. All right. And thank you again. I appreciate you guys entrusting us with your children. Take care.